This is, oh, here's a quarter. No, see. As soon as they see this, they know it's from America. They know, you know, what we believe in. And does it say? It says, it definitely says, in God we trust. It doesn't say land of the free. I'm sorry. But, you know, also, you know, sorry, a dollar. I'm just gonna out some props to make it interesting. When you see our dollar, you know, and you see George Washington, clearly it states that we value him, right? It means we value this guy. We value him because he is our first president. Of course we value him. He set a lot of standards for other presidents. So him putting the cross symbol on a coin set a huge example for, you know, who they were and what they believe. So if you think about that, buyers had to think, what is this? You know, what is this cross? What does it represent? You know, who is this? Like putting crosses on coins. So what if some of those people came to, you know, Ethiopia to check out what's going on? Why is this guy changing the coin? So, and what happens when they came there? Well, they were informed on why, and maybe some of those people actually converted too. So that's spreading Christianity, right? Right. So that's spreading Christianity. It's just my mind working. If this whole video and me writing this, I sit here and picture. I'm like, okay, you know, the coins are being used here and there. And people's like, oh, well, what's this? You know, and I'm just trying to picture it in my head. People definitely had to come back and try to ask them, what is this? Why is this on your coin? And when it being explained to them, they're like, oh, you know, I want to know about that. You know, tell me more. Some people are just like that. They're curious. So they want to know. They want, you know, they want to know. Out of curiosity, they came to Aksum to see what it was about. That's what I wrote. But also to see, it was brought through the Nile Valley heading for the city of Meroe, the last capital of ancient Kush and the Kushites. And when the Kushites were in decline, Aksum arose and, you know, converted. Everyone converted to Christianity there. It doesn't say they were forced or anything. And after King Gizana died in 360 AD, Christianity still pressed on by extending from Africa to southern Arabia, and they also became Christians. And by the 6th century, Christian missionaries from Constantinople traveled up to the Nile and began conversion of 3 Nubian kingdoms after the fall of the Kush. Now, if you take a minute and you think, like, wow, they traveled to 3 Nubian kingdoms and converted everybody to Christianity, there has to be a lot of truth in that. You know what I mean? Like, how do you convert 3 whole, you know, kingdoms to Christianity? That's pretty awesome. You know, just the truth in it, and just to see that there was no one saying that they marched in and they told the people and with armies and stuff, they marched in to tell people about Christianity. No, they said they, you know, converted them. That means willing to me. So that was amazing. I just wanted to take a minute to just sit there and think about that. Like, wow, it had to take some time. I wonder how much time. You know, wish I had like a time machine to go back and kind of see all this stuff. I really do wish that. But and Christianity thrived in the Nubian cultures for 1,000 years and impacted so many lives. Because, you know, I'm here in America. I mean, I don't know how I got here, but all the way back then, and it has impacted me here in 2018. Well, since I was born, but it's still my choice now. Since I'm older, I made the choice to still be a Christian. But in 2018, it's still impacting my life from way back then. So that's freaking awesome. So, heading to number 4. This one might take a little longer, so that's why I did it at the end, not just because it's number 4, but also because it's going to take the longest, if I can find it. That takes us to the last question. Okay. The last question was, what roles does it play? You know, did it cause peace? Did it cause conflict or war? And this is, I personally think that the role that Christianity played was helping people connect to a higher power. And by that I mean when people were introduced to Christianity, you know, they joined because they wanted to, like I was saying in my last paragraphs. They joined on their own and it wasn't forced or pressured into it. Also, for Izana, also having a history in Christianity with being, you know, informed by Fermentis and I forgot the other kid's name, I'm sorry. I just like Fermentis. It kind of sounds Hispanic, kind of, right? Fermentis? Hispanic. Converted to Christianity, gave him and the Roman emperor during their trade, it gave them peace. Because if you think about it, if you and, let's say me and you, were both redheads, you know, we can, you know, find some interest in each other, some identification, a little more comfortability if we're in a room full of brunettes, you know. So them both having the same interests and the same beliefs kind of gave them a little more peace in each other. I'm pretty sure. So that pretty gave them some peace in trading. So yeah, it caused peace, Christianity, and the family, you know, would give them peace. It's because it's something they had in common. Now, when this, I do say this, a conflict did arise when Muhammad sent friends and family to spread the word, to find refuge in Christian kings because he was under pressure in ISO. Later on, you'll see why I said, and I'll tap back on it when I get there, on why I said that started a problem, conflict. Okay. And when Muhammad died in 632 AD, Islamic armies marched into North Africa. By 342, they disposed of the unpopular Byzantine rulers of Egypt. Now, that's why I say started conflict, because to me, it kind of started when Muhammad, you know, had his friends and family go to those places to find like refuge and like say like, hey, can we do this? Like, can we find some type of peace? Well, he was peaceful. Muhammad he was peaceful in it, you know, finding refuge. That's a sign of peace. It didn't say Muhammad marched into, you know, those other places. He didn't say he marched. It said he went to find refuge, you know. But after he passed away, it says that Islamic armies marched. So that probably means that they probably had someone else who took over, who just took a little more radical approach to it and marched into the places. Like, that's pretty wrong though. But and took over those places. That's why I say it caused conflict, because that does cause conflict when you have an army marching into somewhere like we marched into, you know, I'm not gonna get into that, but that caused conflict. You don't march into a place that's not yours, you know what I mean? But in the disposal of all the unpopular Byzantine rulers. At the beginning of the 8th century, Muslims had all control of the Christian Byzantine, present-day Libya, Tunisia, and Algeria, and Morocco. And if you think about it, those places now, you know, are still Islamic. If you think about it, so it makes a lot of sense. This really did teach me a lot, so I really do appreciate these videos. And soon after, Christians began on the rise again. Now, I don't know what time frame in between this, but you can kind of see the correlation between the Islam and Christian on like the relationship. You know, there's a lot of similarities in the two. There's a lot of beliefs that we both believe, and there's a couple of differences, but there's not a lot. I think a lot of people forget that Christians and Muslims originated in Africa, both of them. So this is kind of my point in this paper, was to show you, you know, a lot of history behind both of them. Christians began to rise again after a special rock was carved by Jabal Tariq in Ethiopian highlands. Now the king he said that he was visited by God, and angels translated for him that if he was to build these churches, that he will be king. So he spent, I think it says, 24 years building these beautiful, beautiful rocks. The people come and worship God, Jesus, which is awesome. When I was watching the video, I'm like, oh my gosh, I want to go visit that place. It's beautiful. That plane ticket has to be expensive. But something now, I have a new bucket list goal. So thanks. So as soon as he built these places, people from all over came to worship. They painted beautiful, beautiful things on the walls of Mary and baby Jesus. They pay respect to her because, of course, she gave birth to Jesus. So they paid him respect. I mean, her respect. I'm sorry. So after this, the Christian faith went on an uprise again. So this was just to give you some information on my topic was African Christianity. I told you the forms, which was Orthodox, and I'm not familiar with Orthodox, but and I also told you how did Christianity find its way to Africa, and I told you my point of view was it already was there. It was born there in Africa. It was probably just pushed and made an indent in history with King Izana, which we thank him, because that was a bold move of putting a cross on a coin, and I like that. I like that boldness. That was awesome. And how did it spread? I told you it spread, there's a couple ways of how it spread. It spread first with, the two boys teaching little King Izana about that spreading, and it also spread with Izana with the coin, and it also spread with them moving to all these little Byzantine empires and converting all those people to Christianity. And the role it played was peace, conflict, or war. And I just think that Christianity played a peace. It was kind of peaceful, It didn't really have war. You don't really hear of them forcing people to convert to Christianity. It's more like of a choice, and where we act out of love, and we act out of, showing you love instead of forcing it on you. And only conflict that arose was with when the Islamic armies, kind of marched in and took over, but we still rose at the end again when Jabal Tariq built those beautiful, beautiful churches for the highlands in Ethiopia. So that's my presentation, and I hope you got some information, because I sure did. I learned a lot with this. I hope you understand my point of view, and please give me comments and questions if you need to, and I'll be sure to answer them.